Welcome to Christy's Science Salon. So I know a lot of you are chatting about New Year's Eve looks. You might notice that I have chosen this little black dress, a staple in every girl's closet. For this look, keep it sleek and classy. Now, it's probably hit you that in 2017 you're gonna have to repeat the same resolutions that you didn't complete in 2016. If only there was a way to go back in time. But wait, is there? Well, as we anticipate the new year, let's talk about the possibility of traveling to alternate ones. I mean, Einstein proposed that time is the fourth dimension in his theory of relativity. Time slows down or speeds up depending on how fast you move relative to something else. And when anything that has mass sits on the four-dimensional fabric called space-time and causes a bending of that fabric, the objects start moving on a curved path, therefore bending time. But Stephen Hawking thinks it's likely that this warping would trigger a bolt of radiation that would destroy the spaceship you're in and maybe the space-time itself. But I think time travel could be achieved. So there, Stephen Hawking. If you think so too, once the New Year's countdown begins, be sure to cut the power at the party and exclaim, "Hey everybody, screw 2017, let's go to a different year instead. I mean, who's with me?" Someone might yell back, "Dude, to do that, I'm pretty sure we'd have to start moving faster than 186,282 miles per second in a vacuum, and we'd both need infinite mass and a length of zero, which appears to be physically impossible." Be like, "Not for Superman." Should get a murmur of agreement from the crowd. Anyhow, someone may randomly shout, "Happy New Year!" In response, be like, why not yell that into a wormhole between points in space-time and see what happens before it collapses? I mean, that could be a great party game. Other people might be kissing at this point, and you can break up the action by being like, "Your face is being smushed together." Reminds me of how narrow tubes of energy stretched across the universe called cosmic strings are thought to contain huge amounts of mass and could wrap the space-time around them. When the host of the party threatens to kick you out, remind him of the grandfather paradox, which analyzes what would happen if a time traveler went back and killed his own grandfather. Would he himself then cease to exist? Your host may think you're threatening him, so gently explain that if you did kill your grandfather back in time, you wouldn't be born in one parallel universe, but you'd still be born in another. Now remember, ladies, making an exit is just as important as making an entrance. So if you can swing it, try to leave the party in a time machine. To do so, theoretically, you just need to create a vehicle that uses an exotic form of matter with negative energy density, or you could jump into a donut-shaped hole enveloped within a sphere of normal matter. Inside this vacuum, space-time could get bent upon itself using focused gravitational fields to form a closed time curve. Just start running laps inside the donut. Just keep going. And when you arrive at your first year, you'll be grateful that you no longer need to worry about New Year's resolutions, because you'll be a baby. Or maybe you'll be looking at yourself as a baby. Or, yeah, I'm not totally sure on that one. Either way, try not to tamper with anything in that dimension. I mean, Marty McFly showed us the consequences of that when his action caused Biff to become the most powerful man in America, even though he was a businessman who didn't know it. Oh. And the Cubs won the World Series in that movie. Okay, guys, I hope you have a happy new year, and I'll see you in the future. Or in the past. Subscribe.
For decades, to get a thin piece of pure silicon, we had to saw it off a thick piece of pure silicon. The saw turns a lot of that silicon into dust. This process is fine for making integrated circuit chips for computers or smartphones because the amount of silicon used is so small. But for manufacturing big solar panels out in the wide open spaces, it costs a lot to waste a lot of pure silicon.
Whether or not the water column is mixed can affect organisms living in the environment. Like, there's no mixing, oxygen is depleted, and then the organisms at the bottom will just die. And Shoshana was like, I hate when organisms die from oxygen depletion. And I was like, I know, right?